Hello, my name is Rakeem. This is Halifamous, and I'm here not alone, but with a special guest. Here is Lindsay Misiner. How's it going, Lindsay?
It is going good today. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm getting to speak to a wonderful musician about wonderful music. I couldn't be better.
Purr.
Cool. So you have a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to get into all of that, but I always like to start my interviews, jumping back into the past a little bit. I want to know how you got into music and how you really got your start singing and playing music.
I've been doing this since I was born, in this life at least, to my knowledge. So, yeah, ever since I could conceive of thoughts and express those thoughts, I knew I was going to be a famous singer. So it's just who I am. It's literally my entire identity. So that's how. And then luckily, my parents allowed me to dig into it deeper, and they bought me mics and pianos and guitars. So I actually got to do it and become it and not just dream it. So that is how.
Sound up from the ground up.
Yes.
Very cool. So was there any music growing up that you in particular listened to, or was in any certain music around you? Your parents play music? What kind of was your stepping stone?
I'm the only musician in the family, actually, full-time musician. But some of my aunts and uncles definitely played the piano a bit. They sang a bit, and then other than that, soul music to the soul, that's what we listened to at home. And then I also watched a lot of American Idol as well. So that's kind of what was going on around the house. And kind of where my influences came from. And then as I got older, I kind of got into rock music. So Janis Joplin, Fleetwood Mac, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. So if you go back into any of my YouTube history, you'll see my voice kind of went from country to soul to rock soul to now R&B and soul. So it's very heavy influence based.
I see. So it's funny that you mentioned American Idol. Growing up, did you envision yourself kind of being on American Idol? And when Canadian Idol came, was that a certain thing that you aspired? Were you I'm going to be on Canadian Idol?
I definitely always wanted to be. And I did a lot of shows like that when I was a kid, actually. So The Next Star on YTV, Karaoke Star Junior on YTV. And let me tell you, those processes are so brutal. You have to go through all these producers, you have to wait for 12 hours. You don't eat because you're terrified. You pee 60 times. I mean, it's just, I'm just going to say, it's not really that enjoyable. So yeah, when I got old enough for Canadian Idol, it had already been canceled. So
Shame.
I know, rude. So I never did it. And I think I did Canada's Got Talent once when it came here and it first started. But yeah, it's just not my thing. It doesn't make me feel good. It's not for me anymore. But when I was a kid, yes, I did envision myself in those places.
As a child, were you into talent shows as well, like local talent shows or school talent shows?
Yes. My mom put me in a lot of those, in Digby in the Valley and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely had some fun experiences there with, stage parents and people getting in fights over their children losing and stuff. So, yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't perform much other than the yearly Christmas concert.
Classic.
And even seeing that, mom or dad, whoever's parents would run up and, get in front of everybody in the front row trying to take pictures and, getting in front of everybody's view just to snap a bad, blurry, out of focus picture of their kid on the stage. Their kid's at the back of the riser. No one can see them. It's funny what parents do when their kid's on stage. But that's the love, I suppose.
Yeah,
the love.
It's all love, but sometimes you do have to consider other people. And I mean, who's to say when I have my children, I'll probably be doing that. I can't even lie, so I can't hate. But yeah, it's interesting for sure, especially when you express interest in being a musician, your parent kind of becomes that stage mom or whatever, because actually sometimes that can negatively impact your career, if you want to call it that, when you're a younger person, because nobody wants to deal with a stage mom, especially someone who knows nothing about music.
You might miss opportunities because of your overbearing parent.
Yes, which that didn't really happen for me, but I've seen it, especially in those environments and all the little shows I did and stuff. There was some serious weirdos, but that's life.
I even think of not to get too far off the topic, but even the show Dance Moms, all the moms bickering. It's not even about the kids anymore. It's about the moms.
Yeah, I was just watching stuff from that the other day. Abby Lee Miller, she is a wild one.
She,
But yeah.
she is. But I also wanted to ask about, your group that you performed with for a long, long time, Lindsay Misiner and the Seventh Mystic.
Mhm.
How did that come to be, and how did you end up forming a group?
Well, I went to NSCC Music Arts, so I met pretty much all of them there, or either through there or through connections of people that went there. And yeah, it's always been my dream to have a massive band, and I did it. Back in those days, though, it was easier because people didn't want to be paid for rehearsals and they wanted to show up for the greater good. But as you get older, those things change. People have bills, and bills are getting more expensive. So. But yeah, I accomplished that dream. We wrote a bunch of music together. Luckily, we got to put out an album and an EP in our basically 8-year span, because in between that span, I did move away. But when I moved back, we somehow all original members got back together. So it was actually a 9-piece band, despite the name being the Seventh Mystic. The Seventh Mystic is just a very spiritual number and the one I connect with the most. So that's really why it's called that. It's not that deep.
The ninth Mystic did not hit as hard.
The Seventh Mystic definitely, it hits a little harder, a little more cute. But yeah, we had some really good times. Learned a lot as well. Learned how to manage a band. Learned basically how to run my career from that, because I had to take us from playing little tiny gigs to like these bigger gigs and bigger stages, and I had to manage all the people and their emotions and everything. I did all the communication, all the ticket sales, all the posters. I learned how to graphic design through that experience, and I'm not going to say I'm amazing at it, but I definitely ain't too bad.
You do dabble.
I be dabbling. So, so I did what I was supposed to do through that experience for sure.
A true band leader.
Yes.
Very cool. And, recently, what kind of precipitated the move to, releasing this upcoming album solo?
Well, I mean, the band, people started getting married and having kids, which I knew that day would come. And sometimes, if you want to be a musician, you'll still do it. But oftentimes it just becomes a hobby because, real life kicks you in the face, in a good way, of course. So yeah, I was expecting eventually the band would kind of fall apart. But no hard feelings. It's just naturally it kind of fell apart. We tried to get some replacements, but it just became too difficult. And like there would be certain things that I would want to do, like certain gigs that were further away or less money, but still of value. That sometimes it would be difficult to get everyone there because it was so expensive. I mean, 9 people, it's like ridiculous unless you're already rich. So, yeah, becoming solo was inevitable. It was just when it was going to happen, when I was going to make that change. And I mean, I've been a solo artist literally since I was like 10 years old, so it's nothing new. And I play guitar, a little bit of piano, but not enough to accompany myself anymore, unfortunately. But I'll get back on that someday. But yeah, and it mostly all comes down to money, because at the end of the day, like you cannot carry a 9-piece band on tour unless you're like selling out spots, and to get there in this day and age, it's just, you just got to have money. And I wasn't born rich. So, so that's kind of where we're at. But even though, the album is me as a solo artist and I am a solo artist, I still have a backing band to perform live with. And it started as 4 pieces and now we're up to 7. So you're
getting back to your roots.
I cannot help myself. Well, it's like you got one background vocal, so you might as well add another one. I mean, you got one horn, you may as well add another. I mean, it's just never
symmetry.
Yeah. So anyway, we're back at that number 7 again, I guess. But it sounded really good. So yeah.
I can't wait. And later on, we'll talk about your upcoming shows and stuff like that. So hopefully, me and all the viewers and listeners can get out to a show and hear you live.
They better.
Listeners, you better. You have no choice.
You'll lose sleep if you don't.
But I also wanted to dive a little more into the album itself. You were gracious enough to send me the songs early, so I got to listen to a few.
Hopefully you liked it.
And I did. It's a great album.
If you didn't.
Well, that'd be bad. It's a great album. And the first song really struck me. It's called Making Love Music. And I wanted to know kind of what made you pick that as kind of the jump off point for the album. And I also wanted to know, what goes into making a sort of sensual song like that, I guess.
Yeah, real sensual. That was the goal too, and I think it worked. But yeah, I mean, that's my favorite song on the album, actually. It's, I think, representative of the genre that I'm really, really going for, which is contemporary R&B, which is kind of like mainstream R&B today. So yeah, I just had to put it at the top of the album. I just think it's a good song. I just love it. So that it's no deeper than that. I just love it, and I just think it's the best. But yeah, what goes into making a sensual song like that? Well, I've walked many paths. All right, so that song is a bunch of stories, kind of in one, in a somewhat appropriate manner. So yeah, I've done a lot of things. I've seen a lot of people. So it's just kind of all of my experiences in a way that's kind of cute and classy.
Yeah, sprinkle in some personal experience
Yes.
and don't go too far off the deep end.
Precisely. I want to slightly keep it PG, although it is an explicit album because of 2 songs. But yeah, you want to let people in, but you don't want to give them everything.
Exactly. Save that for the uncut deluxe edition and all that
Yes.
stuff. Well, that's pretty cool. One of the cool things that I also noticed about the album are, frequent collaborators across the album. Often, sometimes you'll look at an album's kind of liner notes and you see, everyone under the sun has worked on this album.
Mhm.
But I noticed Alex Mead
Mhm.
is a constant collaborator, producing and writing. How did you kind of get up with Alex Mead, and where did that relationship form?
Yes. So I met him through my love, Tommy Green Jr., really good friend.
And another great musician.
Absolutely. And Alex is a great musician too. And we were doing actually, I think I met him through playing with Tommy's band. I was doing background vocals for him. And he's like, you really need to work with Alex. And so Alex and I met one time to talk about it. And he was like, $10 million. And I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind then. And then we ended up working out a deal. So thank you, Alex.
$9,099,000.
Yeah, exactly. But something that worked for me, just where I was at in my life, because I have like 5 jobs and I still can't pay the bills. I mean, I do pay the bills, but I'm just kind of making a joke. But yeah, so Alex produced and engineered the entire record, mixed it, everything. And then he's listed as writer on, I think, all of the songs, because every song, even if I wrote it on my own and brought it into him, he added to it, helped me with some of my wording, because, sometimes I can be a little street with the way I talk. So he helped me like make it proper English at times. Sometimes I had to argue with him to keep the non-proper English, because that's just how I
Sometimes
want to say
that
it.
adds to it.
It
That's
does.
the flavor.
Like, so yeah, there's a few songs. I think, I thought it was Making Love Music, but I think it's 1 Foot in, 1 Foot Out. I got to tell this because Alex will laugh, but there's a lyric that goes, why do I always be wasting my time? And Alex like, he goes, that makes no sense. And I'm like, it does to me. So I kept that in there, but I had to fight for it. But yeah, his input was really valuable in all the songs, and as well as he did all of the instrumentation on the album.
Wow.
Even though I play, he plays everything better than me. So yeah, huge contributor. And without him, it would not be in existence. So thanks, Alex.
That's cool that he really has, helped you shape the whole album inside and out. Reminds me of that Timbaland lyric of, I'm a real producer, you're just a piano man. Like, he has his hands in everything, really producing the final product. That's super cool.
100%.
Has this album process been different from, previous album and EP kind of processes and how it came together?
Yeah, so it's definitely been different, especially if you compare it to my last album with the band. I had a dream of recording it live off the floor. So a 9-piece band live off the floor in 2023, I think it was. Everyone looked at me like I had 9 heads, which I do. I have 9 personalities. I am a Gemini. But it's what I wanted to do. So I did it and I made it happen. So Frank Lopez from Ocean Floor Studios agreed to do it, and he absolutely murdered it. The vocals were overdubbed and so were the horns, but we did it like all live at once. So I sang with the band while they played it, and then I just overdubbed my vocals. But yeah, so this album was not like that at all. There's a lot of cut and copy and paste and, punch in and all this. But then some things just came out naturally, because Alex would tell you, if you were to sit down and talk with him, like, I'm pretty serious about what comes out of me is what was supposed to come out of me. I don't like my vocals really edited at all. I like everything to just sound natural, because it is soul music. You take that away, what does it become? Pop music, basically. So Yeah, it was similar in that way that there were a lot of like natural aspects, sounds, even like voice cracks sometimes. Sometimes those work. Um, but yeah, different in that we tried to like cross over a little bit more into pop a little bit with some of the songs. So for example, the one that features Harms, like that's like totally kind of pop R&B, and those vocals were very cut and dry. Whereas a song like Love, for example, which I released last year, that was just straight raw. So yeah.
Mm. And which one do you like better, like the live off the floor or the more produced kind of album?
Live off the floor all the way, baby. I
Hmm.
will do that until I die. Just like, Aretha Franklin, like Etta James and all them in the studio, they just had like the one mic and the whole
Hmm.
band played in that one mic, which makes no sense. But yeah, that's just kind of my thing. But of course, the more produced is fun too, and it's a great way to learn and to learn how to behave in a studio, especially if you're like co-writing with other people
Hmm.
and you want to just like punch in on a verse. Like it's a good way to learn. Sounds good, sounds clean cut, but two totally different experiences.
I see, and it's good that you have both of them in your pocket. You can do either or. That's cool.
Versatile.
So I wanted to, I wanted to know about a certain song. It has a beautiful music video too. It's called "I Saw an Angel,"
Yes.
and I wanted to chat about that. I heard that it was written about a special someone in your life. Could you tell us a little bit about that song and someone, if you can?
Yes. So I saw an angel. I guess that's my second favorite song on the album. If not the first, but Making Love Music, like I said, I love that one. But this one is yeah, beautiful soul ballad, just crying out for my aunt Teshy, who raised me for a portion of my life. She unfortunately passed away from cancer about 2.5 years ago now. So yeah, the song is kind of reflecting on when my dad kind of fell ill, and she had already passed at that time, and I was kind of like, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm an only child. All of my other aunts are older; they have grandkids, their own lives. So I felt like I was going to have to become my dad's caretaker at 26, and I
Mhm.
was still single, no kids, no nothing. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. So I thought I was basically going to lose my life, and God loved my dad. I mean, like he would deserve the help, but I was really facing a reality of like, yeah, like what the fuck? So am I allowed to swear? I don't know.
No
What
one
the
has
F?
told me.
So yeah, that song came out of that. I wrote it sitting naked on my floor. I'm just gonna be honest. I had underwear on, probably that's kind of what I do. But and I was just like rocking back and forth like a freaking weirdo. I know my neighbors are like, she's crazy because I'm like screaming in the mic. And it just like came out of me one night and I was like, yo. So brought it to Alex and he did all of the instrumentation for it, like he did on all the songs. Um and just brought it to a whole new world. We got some like choir vocals in there, which I did a lot of as well, just like layering vocals. But yeah, that song is so important to me. And the music video specifically, as soon as I wrote that song on my floor, I saw the music video. I didn't know which church it was going to be in, but I knew it was going to be in a church. I wanted it to be like a spiritual kind of memorial video for my aunt. Um, yeah, so that's probably one of the most important songs I've ever written in my life, I would say,
Mhm.
because it's like really emotionally raw. And it seems to have done well. Like people seem to be connecting with it, which typically people would for a song about someone passing away, because we've
Mhm.
pretty much all experienced
Everyone's,
that.
yeah, it happens in everyone's life.
It does, and it hurts. So that's why I'm grateful for music too, because at least I can somewhat release those pains, kind of, and help others. So yeah,
I wanted to ask, well, first of all, condolences
thank you.
about your aunt. But I also wanted to ask, have you been able to perform it live yet?
Yes. So I've done, I think the ECMAs I did the whenever that was May,
Mhm.
in Newfoundland. That was a fun trip. I had never been there before. And I think Music Week the previous year in Wolfville, and that's the only people who've heard it thus far. So
Mm.
yeah, but I'm
Very
about to
cool.
perform it a few times upcoming. So yeah, but it sounds good live.
When you step on stage and you perform like a meaningful kind of, deep song, do you find that all those emotions, like when you were sitting on your floor writing the song, that all that comes back in the moment? I've talked to different artists, and some people say it does. Some people say they're kind of, detached from the moment that they wrote it when they sing it. What about you?
Depends on the day. If I'm having an emotional week, I might shed a
Mhm.
tear or two. Um, but if I'm like really like in the zone, like I'll probably make it through the song at least and then cry once I get off stage.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, when I sing that song specifically, it definitely hits me every time. And like every song that I sing definitely has like a deep meaning that maybe not the average ear would even pick up, which is kind of how all songs are really. So yeah, that one's emotional, and I always make sure that it is super raw and emotional when I'm performing it on stage because I want the people in the audience to actually feel something. Like that's kind of who I am as an artist. Like I kind of want you to cry or like do something, give me something. Um, so yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you definitely, I suppose, you want them to walk away remembering, what you gave to that song. And especially
Yes.
when you listen to it on Spotify or, you see the video on YouTube, it's probably different to see you kind of project that on stage. I think I saw it in Wolfville. Uh,
Yeah, you're at that show,
I
right?
was I was there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but see, I see so many shows, I don't remember it. So I need to get out
Wow.
to
So
your
what are you saying?
next.
I didn't do my job to
No,
make
I'm
you
just
remember?
saying that, this mind isn't what it used to be. It isn't what it
I
used
feel
to
you.
be.
My mind ain't even here,
But,
so I feel you.
mhm.
Yeah, so
But
maybe this year's
s
Music Week I'll have to do better and we'll have to see.
no, hey, you did fine, okay? I'll have to do better. You know what? I'll record it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll record it.
yeah.
But, I also wanted to take a moment away from the album and talk about kind of the inner workings of the industry, the inner workings of the artist.
Mhm.
And I wanted to talk about, I know that you've, dealt with some personal things in your life, and, mental health, addiction, things like that. That's something that, so many artists and so many industry people behind the scenes deal with day in and day out. So I wanted to ask you a bit about your struggles, if that's okay.
I'm open.
So, what's it like kind of navigating the industry space and the music scene, with mental health struggles? I also struggle with mental health myself.
Mhm.
It can be a struggle every day in everything you do, and that sort of thing. And some days are better than others, but I wanted to know how you deal with that sort of thing.
Well, as you would know, because you go to a lot of different events or like, I don't know, conferences or social things where you have to actually interact, like you could say something and then you could like go home and be like, oh my God, why did I say that? Like that sounded so crazy.
Mhm.
Like all this stuff, right? So you can really get in your head. And I think navigating the industry with any type of mental health is just like try your best. It's hard, easier said than done, but try your best to just like live in that moment, whatever comes out of you, as long as it's nice, like you're
Mhm.
probably fine. And like one thing I've learned is like try not to go home and like lay in your bed and stare at the ceiling and be like, why did I say that? That was so stupid because it's actually not helpful. It's a waste of your time. And like some people do have to like debrief and whatever, and that's fine. But like try to when you're like getting really negative in your head, or maybe you're talking to someone else about the experience and you get negative, try to be like, okay, that was super negative. Let's try to throw in a positive there. So what I said here was kind of weird, but like my performance was really good, or like my connection that I made was like really good. So try to outweigh those negatives. And the more you do that, the better it will become. That's what
Mhm.
I find. Um, and then yeah, just like kind of keeping some things to yourself, but then sharing other things. So for example, right now I'm open, I'm talking about, the things that I might struggle with. But there's some things that, if I'm on a performing on stage, I'm not just gonna bust out and be like, I have depression. Like, and people do that sometimes because sometimes you get nervous and you just like bust out with things. So kind of learning how to when to say things, how to say things. But that just comes with experience. Um, and yeah, if you feel like shit and you can't do something,
Mhm.
don't push yourself. Like,
Mm.
I think it's important to push yourself through like certain things, but if you wake up one day and you're just like, you feel so bad, like, just reschedule it or something. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Doesn't always work like that. Like, I know you can't just like reschedule your job or whatever, but I don't know. Sometimes you just need to take a day for yourself. It helps.
I feel that.
Yeah.
And often, you trying to push through whatever you're dealing with to do this scheduled thing, often it's going to come out, you won't be at your best. And then,
Yeah.
like you said, you'll go home and you'll be like, I could have done that better. Why did I do this, say this? And,
Yeah.
had you taken some time, had you been a little kinder to yourself in the first place, you might have went a little better, maybe.
Yeah. Not to say that's always possible though. I
It's
mean,
not often
today, could
possible.
I have rescheduled today? Like, probably not. So, not that I would have, I'm fine, but I'm just saying, try to make an example. Like, there's certain things like you do just got to push through, but like, yeah, just try to be mindful of like what you're pushing yourself through. So yeah, if you got to like go into a crazy one-on-one meeting and you know they're going to rip you apart, maybe don't do that when you wake up
Mm.
depressed, you know? I don't know. It's hard to navigate everyone's life. They're going to do it how they need to do it, but yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, is that something you've learned over time, and have different experiences kind of shaped how you approach your mental health and your mental well-being and that sort of thing?
Yeah. I'm a yapper. I usually just say what comes to the top of my mind. And I've learned to not suppress. I was going to say suppress. That's the wrong word. I don't suppress nothing. I am who I am. But you just got to read the room. Like, it's just a skill. Like, I don't know. You got to learn it. Like, sometimes you just, yeah, you got to either like back down or like accept your position in the room, for example. But yeah, it does come with experience. You're not just gonna, wake up one day being a yapper and then suddenly be a, reserved yapper. You really got to work toward it. And being aware, and you can practice these things with like your friends, like that you actually know these types of social interactions, and like try to sit back and like actually listen to what someone else is saying before you speak. Little things like this, and eventually, when you become old like me, you'll be good at it.
You're not old. Prime
Only
of your
29.
life. See,
I feel old though. God.
it's like that movie 13 going on 30. They said
Yes.
30, flirty, and thriving. You're not even 30 yet.
I know. So much more time to flirt.
Exactly. But yeah, it's funny you were talking about practicing these things. And I always think back to my school experience. Now, I had ups and downs through my school experience. But one thing, school teaches you is how to socially interact,
Yes.
how to learn to be with different people, how to, again, not to suppress things, but how to deal with being in different positions when you're the leader of the group project, when you're the student and you have to listen to your teacher talk, and even if they're wrong or saying something you don't like, and,
Hated that.
or how to work together, or how to, in gym class, when you lose or when you win, and how to deal with all that stuff. School teaches us so much. And, even through the bad times, I'm thankful for the social interaction that school taught me.
Right?
But yeah, it's hard to learn. And you
It
don't
is.
learn until you learn sometimes,
No, straight up. I always learn the hard way. Everything I do, trust me, ask anyone who knows me. Like, it's never easy in Lindsay Town, but every time I come out stronger, so I'm kind of grateful. It hurts sometimes, but whatever. But yeah, it's this is completely off topic, but I always think about like when I have children, like there's certain things I don't want my children to be learning from other people, or like certain beliefs that I'm just like, So I always think like, oh, I want to homeschool my children, or at least like find teachers that align with my values, and let them homeschool them at home. But you lose that social aspect that school teaches you, and you can put them in sports and dance and this and that, but it's still a lot different than that discipline and social interaction you're going to get from school. So anyway, completely random topic there, but I'm always thinking about that.
Even like I have nephews, and they were younger in school, and one of them started school during the pandemic, right? So his most formidable, this is what school is, this is what being away from my mom and my dad and whoever, and kind of being in a classroom setting, was all online on Zoom. He's like in the kitchen or in his
Real
bedroom
weird.
or in the living room, just experiencing that thing. And I think back to like, I started school in 2004. If we had had Zoom, and if there had been a global pandemic, I don't know if I'd be able to function today.
Yeah.
Not having learned what I learned. Even little things like, and again, this is off topic, and I'll get back on topic in a second. But even learning things like, I remember in primary, there was this dude who used to sit. Our desks were pushed together in little formations. He used to sit on the other side of me. He would kick my legs under the desk, and eventually I had to confront him, and I had to work through,
The shit out of him.
Nah, I think I told my mom or something like that.
Yeah.
But I had to work through like being like, hey, I don't like that. Don't do that to me. That's not cool. And, if it had been a Zoom situation, I wouldn't have learned that. And then the next, when he was bigger, and maybe when we came back from Zoom, maybe he would have, just, I don't like you. Bang. I don't know. But little things you learn how to navigate things, I thank school for.
Yeah, it's important. And then if we kind of continue this topic into like the music side of things, think about this. and we all experience it, like a lot of the times you will discover artists only on social media. And a lot of artists don't even like, it's kind of hard to tour now. Like touring it's like you're either opening for a bigger artist and actually playing in front of people, or maybe doing like a festival tour, but otherwise you shouldn't really go book a bunch of random shows at empty bars and go on tour. It's a complete waste of money. So a lot of artists don't actually perform as much as like people used to. So it's like this online persona that you're being, and it can kind of play into mental health as well. And like people think they know you, but like they don't really know you, and you're constantly playing this person. It's weird. And I mean, like in my instance, I do still play like, a few live shows here and there when it makes sense. But I do still have this persona, I guess, that when I'm on stage or like when I'm doing interviews, I mean, this is me, but like it's still like when I go home and sit in my bed, like I'm just dead silent, like straight up staring at the wall. You know what I mean? So, it's still kind of something you got to put on. So, yeah, when you go back to that like online world and through COVID and all the Zoom stuff, yeah, it's real interesting how it all kind of plays together, and how to navigate that and keep your sanity and also keep your real self. You're not just like learning lessons through these things, but you're trying to navigate how to be a real person and yeah, actually have values and live those values out through your art, even if it's primarily online.
You can get lost in the online world, and you can get lost in the sauce. There can be so much sauce, and they can't find you in the sauce.
Yeah, you're
it's
gone.
Crazy.
Done.
But it's good that people do still get to get out, and even though through the pandemic we've gotten back to like even this would have been over Zoom a few years ago.
Yeah, and then it's like not even cool. Like no offense. I mean, it's
cool, but
it's cool, but it's like this is like cooler.
This is cooler. This is the part. Yeah. It's cooler for sure. I also wanted to ask, I know that, other than personal struggles of an artist, there can also be professional struggles of an artist. And I heard that, when making this album, there were even some people telling you don't do an album, maybe don't do music videos. That stuff is not the way that people consume music these days. I wanted to know what led you to kind of doing your own thing anyway and making an album, making music videos. And, the backside of that is how do you deal with professional disagreements or professional things like that where I say one thing, you say another thing?
It ain't easy, let me tell you, because it's you can't come off as like rude or like not listening to someone who's done it, or has experience. So you want to be like thankful for other people's opinions or advices, but if it doesn't align with what you genuinely want to do, oh well, like just do it. I mean, listen to it like a little bit, but yeah, at the end of the day, like I wanted to make an album, so I'm gonna make an album. Like it is what it is. Like I'm not like Beyonce, so like my numbers aren't gonna be there right now either way. I'm still an artist at the core. I want to produce a body of work, so that's what I'm gonna do, whatever it takes to get there. Because it ain't cheap, let me tell you that. But thank goodness for Factor and Music Nova Scotia, because that's what helped me push through this project. But yeah, I mean, I think like often in the industry, you will find you're always gonna find this in any industry, probably, is like there's gonna be the people who are like, nah, like you just can't do that. Like that makes no sense, like financially, like just anything. But if it's something you really want to do, I feel like if you just do it, you're gonna be happier at the end of it no matter what. And you're gonna come out with something that's genuine as opposed to like modifying your entire idea to fit someone else's narrative that, no offense, is probably wrong anyway. So I don't know. But yeah, something I've learned, and I don't know who gave me this advice. Maybe it was TK, I think, actually. But he was like, if someone, well, this isn't how he said it, but it was, the nuance of it was basically, if someone hasn't actually done something that you are looking forward to or want to do, their advice, take it lightly, but like, it's like, is it really advice or is it them just giving you their opinion at that point, which is great. Like, but
big shout out to TK, and and that's true. What's right for one person might not be right for you, and no one knows you better than you. So take what they say into consideration. But if you want to make an album, make an album.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like music videos cost a lot of money, and you could put that budget towards like reels or something else. But I don't know. When I'm like 50 years old and I look back, I'm going to be like, shit, I made 3 music videos. Like, that's fire. And more than that by the time I'm 50, I would hope. But yeah, I mean, if you live your whole life thinking about what other people tell you to do, like, your life's probably going to suck. So I think that's just a general good way of looking at it, is like, especially in art and being a creative, like, if whatever you believe above, inside, whatever is telling you to do something, just do it.
Just do it.
Literally. Just like
And
Nike said.
exactly. Sponsored by. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But it's funny that you also mentioned, looking back, it's cool to be like, oh, I made this album or these music videos, and you mentioned reels. I was just thinking,
Mhm.
imagine if, and again, this didn't exist, but imagine if Michael Jackson had just made a couple reels for the Thriller album or something,
That's what I'm
We
saying.
would not remember that 40 years later, but we remember Beat It and Billie Jean and Thriller for that
Yes.
exact reason. It gave us
Precisely.
something to watch and something to relate the music to.
Yeah,
So
I don't think it's dead. I do not think music videos are dead. They're on the come up. They're coming back.
coming back,
I'm just saying.
coming back better.
Yeah, I mean, they've never left. It's just our attention spans have become so small now
Mhm.
because of these, 30-second reels. But I don't know. Yeah, I still think it's a valuable asset no matter what. And like, even when you apply for grants, festivals, all that, they want
You have
music
something
videos.
to show them.
Yeah, they don't want reels. They want
Mhm.
literal videos. So like, if you just listen to the people who tell you not to and you have no videos, then what?
Then, yeah.
Literally,
yeah.
then what? So
And even an album. Like,
Yeah.
you said that, this project was helped by Factor, or, the music videos were stuff. And even Music Nova Scotia.
Mhm.
I've been a juror on Music Nova Scotia and stuff like that. And I know that, when I go through a submission and someone has an album they've already made or that they're
Yeah.
trying to make, and I can see that, like, wow, they're trying, they're working towards something. This
Yes.
money that we're going to give them is going to go towards creating something that's not only going to help their career, they're going to put their passion into, but it's also going to, lift up the whole music community with, an album drop. Only so many albums from the local music community come out each year.
Yes.
Each one is a stepping stone towards all of us, pushing it further. So
Absolutely.
why not if you can?
Yeah. I mean, singles, it's definitely like, you don't have to every time go in and make a whole album. Like,
Mhm.
singles do still have their place. But if you have the means, like financially, energetically, to do both and you want to do it, just do it.
Just
Seriously.
do it.
Seriously.
Nike said it best.
Yeah.
You mentioned this song a little earlier, 1 Foot In, 1 Foot Out.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of, singles, streaming, and all that stuff, it's highly streamed on Spotify. I was checking the numbers, over 159,000 streams. I wanted to know, why do you think that song is connecting so much with listeners?
I mean, it's the age-old tale, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Don't we,
Mhm.
all of us, go through that at some point or all the time in life, where we're like, we're not quite dipping our feet all the way in. We're like half-ass and stuff. We're procrastinating, whatever. That's kind of what that song is about. It's written like with the story of like a lover having 1 foot in, 1 foot out, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, when you really strip down the song, yeah, that's what it's about. And I find that I've done that so many times in my life. I've had so many opportunities that have literally been right in front of my face, and I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, literally, and I miss it. It passed me by, but that's fine because I learned from it. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of what it represents. So I'm assuming that's why it's connecting with people. But yeah, that was the first single I released from this album, and I've never really had much experience with streaming. Like, everything I've released in the past, I've put it on streaming, but I was doing it all independent. This time I actually worked with a distributor who helped get it further than it ever would have had I just done it independently. So that's actually a big piece of advice for up and coming artists. I really think distribution is huge. Before this project, I couldn't even tell you what distribution was. But it's basically, I guess, an easy way of putting it is like a third party that will directly pitch to DSPs for you with your own input. So without that, you're kind of mixed into the billions of other people that are releasing millions of songs a week. But with that, it's like you have a little bit more of a backing. It's typically better or legitimate music. Not always, because there's obviously tons of independent stuff that's amazing. But it just kind of gives you that level up as an independent artist to do that. It's worth the money. You're not just paying to playlist. It's like you're paying someone to help you dig deeper into like the meaning of the song, the credits, and pushing all of that forward to specific playlists that are genre based. And I've actually gained some real fans from it. I'm very popular in Tokyo, Japan. I'm very popular in Brazil. So, and it's not just random. These are real people. And I actually have connections in Brazil. My cousin's wife is Brazilian. So hopefully I'll get to go there soon because I missed their wedding. So
I'm glad that the song is connecting with people.
Me too, because it connected with me. So,
and hopefully the album connects the same way. Hopefully. It's going to be a good time. And speaking of the album, I wanted to know how you go about promoting music when you're gearing up for a release. You know, what goes into the album cycle, and when you're this close, like what are you, I guess interviews like this are one way, but how do you go about promoting new music?
Yeah, interviews for sure, because you never know, one person who's, never heard you before might be like, damn, I really resonate with her. Or, what she got to say musically or just speaking. My story. Social media, just go crazy on social media, but I do that anyway. So I'm very personal on my social media too. Like I don't change it up. Like I'm pretty blunt with everything, but I try not to swear too much, at least. For some artists, like TikTok is really a huge thing with like reels and stuff when they're promoting their album. I don't know if that's for me on this specific project because a lot of these songs are a little bit more slower and personal. But I think my next project, that might be a little bit more of my focus. But yeah, visual content for pretty much every song is definitely a method I'm using and testing out as well for this album because I want to see the ones that I didn't release as singles. Will having that visual element make a difference? Because not all of these songs, there's 7 songs, 1 interlude, so 8 songs. Not all of them are going to be pitched to playlists and such. So how will they do? What world will they live in without that direct to DSP push? I'm very curious. So I'm about to find out. Because it ain't all about the numbers and streams. Like, yeah, these are accomplishments for me, and I'm very grateful and excited about it. But like, I'd rather see some of the songs, use them as a test to see organically what I can do now that I've learned all of this in this past year. So yeah, that. And then physical sales. I'm still making CDs. I'm not playing. Listen, I will always make CDs. I don't care. And even if people don't have CD players, a lot of people like to just have the physical. I want the physical to show to my children. I'm not doing vinyl though. I'm sorry. It's just too much right now. And I didn't even sell half the ones from my last record. So I'm not going that deep this time. But, which by the way, I do still have those for sale if anyone wants a vinyl of 7-piece band or 9-piece band live off the floor. But yeah, so word of mouth, doing shows. So I'm doing like an album release show in November, November 21st. I'll be selling records there. And just like genuinely connecting with people. Like if I meet a random person, you bet I'm going to be like, I'm a musician. I just dropped an album. Like you should follow me on Spotify right now. Like I'm very much like that. And that's a tip I would give to artists. Like break through that barrier. It's not weird if they don't want to listen to you, they won't. But what if they do? That could be a super
They'll
fan.
Never know unless you tell them. You know?
How was they gonna know? Just walking down the street. I've literally walked up to people on the street and been like, yo, here's my card. Listen to my music. And some of them have. You just kind of got a word of mouth, just like a business. It is a business.
They always say, get yourself out there. And, you're not going to get yourself out there unless you get yourself out there.
Throw yourself
Talk to people,
in front of people.
Put your music in front of people.
Yeah. Straight up.
I also wanted to ask, when it comes to, you had mentioned earlier kind of the brand. The personality, the style, the this and the that. How do you go about or how have you gone about building the Lindsay Misiner kind of brand and the iconicness that is you?
Oh, geez. Thanks. I hope. Christ. Well, I mean, one thing I like about artists that I actually like listen to is they're just genuine. Like I feel like I'm pretty genuine. Like I don't lie really. And like what you see is what you get in the personality and in the music. So I feel like that's a huge part of my brand. The way that I dress, pretty chill, but I always got a pair of heels on typically. So I feel like it's kind of like street style / little bouginess to it, little ghetto fab. So yeah, I am who I am, and I will never stop being that, no matter how much money the bankroll be rolling. I'm always going to be the same person, and mark my words on that. I'm really serious. So yeah, I think a lot of people can lose themselves in the sauce, get lost in the sauce, start acting different. Not cool.
Mhm.
I think no matter how popular you get, like, how were you when you were 10 years old and you wanted to be a musician? Like, think back to that person. Would they respect the person that you are now, kind of thing? So, yeah, huge on that. And then, yeah, social media branding. That's another thing. And you know what? There's this artist named Naomi Sharon.
Mm.
She's my current favorite artist. She's from the Netherlands, I believe. I just went to see her in Toronto. Oh my God. She's amazing.
Does she
She's an OVO
perform in
artist.
Canada often?
Her?
Yeah.
She just started. This is her first tour. So she's like a newer artist. She's a little, mid-age, but she's just kind of getting her branding right. And something that she had actually said in an interview, someone asked her about her branding. She said she stripped her entire Instagram and only started posting things that were like within this brand she was going for. So I would pull up her Instagram right now, but not really the time. But like all of her posts, like they're all like white, grays, pastels. She's wearing like form-fitting dresses. Like it all just looks like a brand.
Mhm.
So not to say that I've already done that, but when she said that, it kind of clicked something in my head where I'm like, okay, like if I want to get to the next level, like this is actually what I'm gonna have to do. So I'm working through that right now. I still got to pay bills, so I can't just go buy a whole new wardrobe.
Mhm.
But if I could, Lord knows I would. But just small pieces bringing into my wardrobe to like that kind of all match. So for example, gray. I'm trying to like get my colors right, get my hairdos right, get my earrings right, get everything right. And I know it sounds dumb, but it's like it's for real. Like these little things matter so that your social presence all looks the same across the board. Because when people look into you, like industry executives and professionals, that's what they want to see because they know you're serious, not just a bunch of random like selfies and whatever, right? But then
Cohesion. You want it to be
yes,
cohesive.
but balance those like
Mm.
random selfies and random videos so that you're still connecting with your real people audience too. I don't know. It's all a game.
You
It's
can't
hard to
look like
explain.
a fake page or like a mannequin and just like
Yes,
it's
yes.
all too polished. But you also, you wanna you wanna hit that mark you're trying to hit.
You do. And how to figure out what that mark is, I don't know. It's different for everyone, but I think once you do, you know. And I haven't yet, but yeah, I mean like I have in a way like I have like somewhat of a brand, but I think visually I have a little bit more work to do
Mhm.
and I'm slowly getting there.
And it can change over time.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking while you were speaking about like the weekend and
Mm.
how, every couple years he almost changes his visual
Mhm.
style. We think of the weekend with the big dreads that he used to have back in the day and the way he dressed, and then like the Starboy era, and then the Blinding Lights era, and then
Mhm.
whatever he's up to now. Like they're different, but within those few years, everything fit.
Yes.
So making everything fit, I guess, is pretty important. Last couple questions here. I wanted to ask. I follow you on social media, and I've seen that you've been doing some traveling.
Mhm.
Recently. Where did you go? I think Nashville. Tell
Yep.
us about that and what that kind of produced, both musically and just like fun stuff.
Yes. So I definitely want to use this as an opportunity to shout out Nova Scotia Music Week. So it can be expensive to go wherever it is in the East Coast, pay for either, drives, gas,
Mm.
pay for a place to stay, all that. It adds up. But the thing is, sometimes things happen. So for me, last year for Nova Scotia Music Week, I made these posters. It was like me in this beautiful fur coat and I made a sequence of 4 photos. Now, this is when we're getting down to branding. So, this was all in my head. I was like, I want just one person to say, "Who is that?" And that's exactly what happened. And I got lucky. It was a relevant person. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I had 4 pictures. It was like me with roses, my shoes, me in the jacket, and I just looked like I meant business. So, Shannon Sanders, he's from Nashville. 3-time Grammy Award winner, has worked with some serious, serious artists. He approached me and he hadn't even heard my music yet. He approached me. He's like, "You're the girl from that poster."
Mm.
I'm like, "Yeah, why? Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Shannon Sanders from BMI." I'm like, "Okay." Like, I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, "All right, whatever, bro." Got the number, we exchanged number. I didn't say whatever to him, but I was like, "Okay, like,
Mhm.
yeah, right." Thinking in my head, like, there's no way. Um, anyway, we kept talking. This man flew me out to Nashville to write and record music. I said, "What?" I couldn't even believe it. I mean, nothing good ever happens to me. I was like, "Oh."
Mhm.
So anyway, that experience was crazy because I'd never like no one ever like took interest in me to do something like that for me. So yeah, we co-wrote some crazy music, 2 songs. And then I actually ended up going back to Nashville thanks to my sister in July, and we finished up the song. So after this album, I'm not stopping. I got some stuff in the queue. And this is the best music I've ever been a part of. Shannon has, 20, 30 years of writing experience, production experience. He also is a multi-instrumentalist, an industry experience that has been very, very enlightening for me. So yeah, I don't know that, and that's kind of brings y'all back to like being a musician. It's like practice, hard work, dedication, branding, but there's also a little bit of luck in there. And of course, money too, because if you got no money, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, like it all, like there got to be a little bit of luck in there. Because had he not been there, had I not made those posters, it like it wouldn't have connected like that, but it did. So not to say that every year you go to Nova Scotia Music Week, you're gonna get like discovered and you're gonna fly out somewhere.
But you could.
But you could, like, you actually could. And I like didn't believe it until it happened to me. I was like, oh Lord. So yeah, I'm really excited for this next chapter because we kind of discussed earlier that like this album, I'm so excited for it. And I'm not just gonna like put it out and forget about it. But this album has been in the works for 4 years. I've been writing this stuff for a minute. Alex and I have been in and out of the studio. He's been working on it tirelessly without me present as well. And these are songs that they still mean so much to me and they always will, but a lot of them are, old phases of my life that I've moved past now. So this music from Nashville is my current self, and it's not going to be sitting there for 4 years, 4 years, something around there. It's going to be right out, and then who knows what happens after that. But I'm really confident in like where everything's going for me right now. And it does come down to hard work. Like I don't really sleep. I do have a lot of jobs that aren't even music that pay for my music, pay for me to travel. But yeah, that's kind of where it is. So we'll see what Nashville does. But I love Nashville. People are really cool there.
Cool. I'd like to get there one day.
You gotta go.
I only went to the States once. I went to Maine.
Nice.
And Maine
Classic.
is cool, but I was like 10
Yeah.
when I went, and it was like, we crossed from New Brunswick into Maine. It was like nothing changed.
Yeah, I know.
Other than American flags versus Canadian ones.
Yes.
And at Tim Hortons, they like when you asked for peach juice or whatever, they would put it in like a McDonald's style like cup, like a
Oh.
cup. Whereas here, you would get like the bottle of peach juice.
Yeah.
That always stuck in my mind. But little things like that, but nothing huge. So I'd like to visit, New York, LA, Nashville,
Mhm.
Chicago, Atlanta, anywhere like that, Philadelphia.
I want to get to Atlanta bad. I pretty much exclusively listen to rap and hip hop.
Mhm.
I just do. I like gangsta.
No R&B?
Well, no, I listen to like R&B and soul too. But like if I'm driving, like I'm pumping like 42 Doug, like just crazy, right? So anyway, I want to go to Atlanta because there's a lot of good rap there. There's actually a lot of good rap in Nashville as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, those southern states,
They got a
music
lot of good music.
popping. It
Mhm.
is popping.
And it's always been that way. I was
Yeah.
just listening this morning while I was getting ready. I was listening to some Chuck Berry,
Per.
listening to some Little Richard, and I was like, man, the sounds of Georgia and Tennessee in the 50s,
Yeah,
like
right?
crazy.
That's like where real music comes from,
Mhm.
So it's cool to be immersed in that, especially as like a person that doesn't specifically come from a culture that typically makes soul and R&B music. To learn from people who actually come from that culture is very important because I'm not just out here being a white girl faking it. Like I'm actually learning as I go and respecting those people and working with them as well. So yeah, it's kind of nice because especially working with Shannon, like he has taught me so much about my genre. Like so it's like this actually means a lot more to me now than it previously did. And yeah, just gotta say, probably the best thing about America is Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
iced
Haven't
coffee.
tried it yet. I have.
Oh.
I love iced coffee.
You gotta go.
I gotta go.
Bomb tacos too, because it's like real like.
Tacos at Dunkin' Donuts?
Oh no,
Oh,
sorry.
I was like,
but like
darn.
there's like taco carts everywhere in Nashville because it's like
Okay.
very Hispanic populated.
Mhm.
Oh, real tacos,
I
bomb.
gotta try those too. Last two questions, Lindsay. I wanted to ask, first, shout out to Music Nova Scotia
Yeah.
for putting on a good festival every year and for helping artists all the time. But last two questions, when it comes to Halifax in particular,
Mhm.
do you think that being from Halifax, versus, if you lived somewhere else or were from somewhere else, kind of hinders you in any way? And what advice would you give to the up and coming Halifax or even Nova Scotian musician?
I'm so happy you asked that because it is a recent thing that has come up. So I just went to Toronto and I met with Justin Dumont from Apple Music, who's the R&B head, which is a huge meeting for me, by the way. Like, I don't even know how or why. Like, it's like I went from Nashville in July right to Toronto into that meeting. I'm like, what? Like, I'm in the twilight zone. Like, what the hell is happening? But he actually said, because I asked him that question, I was like, I always feel like I'm like almost like wasting my talent being stuck in Halifax. But this is where I want to live. I've lived away before. I'm a very family oriented person. I don't want to move out of Nova Scotia. I want my children to be raised here, minus the high ass taxes. But anyway, so Justin said to me, he said, no, it actually makes you more unique and interesting. He's like, look where you are right now. You're literally in the Apple Music offices in Toronto with the R&B lead. And he was like, not to be cocky, but like, you are. You did this on your own, which I did. But I live here. And he's like, you flew here. So just keep flying places. And I mean, I know that sounds crazy. You can't afford to fly everywhere all the time. But if it's something that's like of value and you're like saving up for it, or like, you can sell a bunch of albums to catch a flight to go somewhere. These are like steps. You're not just going to fly to Toronto and go to Apple. Like, you got to take steps to get there, which I did. It makes you way more interesting than someone in a big, huge pond of fish. And he pretty much said that. And I mean, there's a lot of like crazy artists in Toronto, as we know, in the bigger cities. But if I were to just like move to Toronto right now to do music, I'd be putting myself back like probably 5 years, like straight up. But if I'm just continuing to do what I'm doing right now and then connecting, you do have email, text, Instagram, all these things. And I'm continuously making and building relationships with these people and sustaining these relationships and feeding them my art in like a personable way, I can just stay here. So yeah, I would say to any artist that feels like they should just pick up and move, if you really feel in your heart like you want to do that, go ahead. But I've done it. And when I moved to Ontario, it was like 4 years of stagnant, straight out. Like, it wasn't. I mean, I learned a lot as a human being, but yeah, so I would say just stick it out where you are and use the internet to your advantage.
Grass is not always greener on the other
It
side.
ain't. No, I'm telling you, you could like be just hitting the surface in Nova Scotia and you're like, I'm just gonna like move away or go somewhere big or whatever. No one knows who you are over there.
Nope.
So why don't you build it here, take it there. Don't just leave it behind. It makes no sense.
If you go to another city, you're going to the back of the line.
Literally.
And that's why, even to equate this to the grocery store, like when I'm in a line sometimes, I stay in that line.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
care. I don't care that a new one opens, because sometimes you go there and then your line speeds up. If I've put time in this line, like for you, you've put years into Halifax.
Yeah.
Go to Toronto now, like maybe, I don't know.
I mean, what you're saying is right, but when it comes to the grocery store, I'm busting over that other line.
Man, if I've been in this line for 10 minutes,
yeah,
I'm being checked out by this cashier.
We've created a bond now.
We have. Like, I've put my time in here. I need to see this through.
Yeah.
I can't switch now. But then there's been a few times when you get really close and then they're like, sorry, and they put the close sign on your name.
That's blasphemy.
That's crazy.
That ain't right. It should be illegal,
you
to be honest.
see me in the line, just like, wait a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless, like,
right.
I don't know. It's great.
Maybe it was a family emergency. Who knows?
It could have been washroom emergency. You've been standing there all day. You got to go to the washroom. But the last thing I wanted to just ask is, what's coming up for you? What should we all be looking out for? Both me, the listeners, the viewers. What do we need to know that's happening in the next couple months, other than the album drop on the 17th
of October? Yes.
Of October.
Yeah, so album 17th of October, album release show on the 21st of November. It's going to be the biggest show I've ever pulled off in my life. And I've done some decent shows, but this one it's all coming straight from within. And people are looking at me like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure this is the right idea? I'm like, yeah. I had some crazy venue ideas, but that didn't work out. So I've accepted my fate. So with that being said, a few things have been modified about like kind of what I was going for, but the general base is still there. So with that, I'm gonna have a special guest performer, but not gonna release them yet who it is. And then I'm also gonna have the NSYJO, the Nova Scotia Youth Jazz Orchestra, perform with me. So to my knowledge, they're a 14-piece, could be more, could be a little less. Horns, violins, keys, all that. They're gonna be accompanying me for a few songs. So that's gonna be crazy. Can't wait for that. And yeah, just like a super awesome industry networking event as well. I'm looking into having like a little mini market there of like local brands as well, just because I want to. I mean, why not, right? But yeah, so I'm excited for that. And then up after that, I don't know. I'll probably have to go back to Nashville or something. But yeah,
Globetrotter over here.
I'm trying to be. I mean, geez. But yeah, no, just like once this album release party's over, it is straight onto the Nashville music anyway. I don't know if I have a reason to go back to Nashville just yet, but digging up the promotion for all that music and like creating content as well, because I really want to level up my content. The last video I did for I Saw an Angel was the best visual content I've ever created with Joel Jennings. He's an amazing videographer. So the next video, which I'm assuming is probably going to be with him as well, we got to level it up. Like there's no going backwards now. Like I'm at that level.
That's the new standard.
It is, and it's going to be really hard to top, but we will. So yeah, it's just keep releasing music, but not just like random shit, like intentional releasing of music and networking and yeah.
Cool. That's the key. Working.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on working.
Yep.
Cool.
I love sleep just as much as the next person, but I don't know. I'll lose a few hours if it means I get to be a musician for the rest of my life.
What you
Whatever.
love.
Yeah.
Get your music out there. Last thing I wanted to ask, I don't think we've mentioned the name of the album. I forget the name of the album.
I don't even know if I gave you the name of the album.
Know.
But I wish I had the physicals. I'm about to pick them up tomorrow. But this one I struggled for a bit. Like I was thinking all these weird ass names because the album is, like I said previously, like, you know, old versions of me on this one project. And at this point, I'm releasing it from myself physically, emotionally. So I was trying to figure out a way to say that. So what I came up with was, and it's kind of unconventional, but whatever. For a Moment, I. So if you look at all of the song titles, so for example, the first song title is called Making Love Music. So for a moment, I was making love music. So to me, it only makes sense to me, and that's all that really matters. But it's kind of like, yeah, so for a moment, I was feeling love. For a moment, I had one foot in, one foot out. So that's kind of what I was going for. I don't know, it's weird, but I like it.
Each song is a moment in time.
Precisely.
So the title, you know,
It's
For a
dramatic.
Moment I.
Yeah.
I like that. And like that title would stick in my mind. I would remember that album. So that album, super excited about it. Can't wait for the release. Hope to be at the release show too.
Oh yeah, I'm sending tickets your way.
Congratulations on the album. You know,
Thank
releasing a new album is always something to be proud of. So there you go. And
Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time to chat with us here at Halifamous. And when you release something new, we'll be back again.
Hell
It should be
yeah.
a good time. Well, listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in. This is Lindsay Misiner. Check out her new album on October 17th and the album release show in November. And watch that music video for I Saw an Angel as well. Peace out.